give us the other issues pertaining to the COVID-19, how much we're being affected outside the country, and of course he will begin inside the country. In and out your breaks, we're also giving you some of the tips that you can have to deal with when you're in the house. Remember, the Kingdom of Eswatini, the government together with the World Health Organization have emphasized that stay at home, move only when it is essential, when it is necessary. But when you're in the house, there's a lot you can do on your small time that you have whenever you're not busy. Now, all the remaining 58 minutes is going to be based on that, as of course I'm already in the studio with James Pennington, our one of the best golfers we have in the kingdom, who's going to give us an overview of himself and some of the things that he has achieved as a golfer. But before maybe we get into anything, it is becoming a tradition, of course, here in the studio, as we are marching in the same direction with what government is trying to say and the World Health Organization to say, whatever we do, let's keep ourselves in a position where we are fighting the spread of COVID-19. James, welcome on the show. But before we just do any communication or any conversation, just to give you a bit of a spray and
thank you.
To make sure that you are safe. You could be the one safe, maybe I have, so you could also be the one carrying it, bringing in the studio. But that should also apply to me, because you can't be next to the person who hasn't applied the same responsibility. There you go. There you have it. Now, James Pennington, yes, welcome you on the program. And how are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you,
James?
Fabrice?
I think it's one thing to say that you're a golfer, but it's also one thing to say you've achieved so far at an early age. Don't you say you are impressed at yourself when you look at what you have achieved so far?
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey. It feels like a lot of it's been spread over many years, but it also feels like it's some of the stuff was just yesterday. So it's definitely something that I look back on, and there's certain tournaments and achievements that sometimes when you're finding it a little bit tough and things aren't going so well, that you can look back on them and draw confidence from those times when your hard work did pay off.
Maybe I will get to the proper questions that I've actually said that I want you to answer some of these issues. But who is James Pennington? We talk about James Pennington, how old is he, and where did he say, let me just take myself into golf as one of the sport? And maybe, just to give us a short background about yourself.
Sure. So I was born in Babon, born and raised here, always known Swaziland to be home, and went to school at Sifunzani, and whilst I was there, I had the opportunity to then learn from a couple of professionals.
That's you on the picture.
Yeah. That's.
How old were you then?
I was 18 in that picture. That was during the King's Cup tournament.
But you look buff there. Not to say not anything about to say not buff, but you look like it's probably a month or 2 months back.
Yeah. Back then, still we were training very hard in the gym. You got to be careful as a golfer that because you do practice a lot for many hours during the day. You have to make sure that you don't get injured, and one of the ways to do that is to make sure that you look after yourself and that you keep training. So it's been a thing that's important in the professional game. And if you look at guys like Tiger Woods, he's always maintained a good physique. He's always been one to go to the gym and view it just as important as the rest of his practice time. So it's something we have to do.
Now, you just touched on Tiger Woods. Actually, it lines me to the next question that I wanted to ask you. But before maybe we get to that, you were still talking about a bit of a background to say from Sifunzani. Now, when you're playing at your age, I want to believe when you're playing, when you're still at Sifunzani, at that time you're still amateur. You're just playing it, but you're not considered as professional.
For sure.
How did it feel like? And then what pushed you to say, my career could be big and become one of the best golfers in the country? What pushed you to say, let me take it to another level?
It was a mixture of a couple things, but we're very lucky here that we have the facilities to be able to play, and at that stage it was just about having as much fun as we could and learning the game and learning how to do it and the rules of the game and all those things. And we were very lucky that we had professionals to look up to, such as Misha Gzwane, Peter Dlamini, Raymond Matonsi, who I remember playing in tournaments and I'd see them at the golf course and watch them practice and hit balls, and always ask many questions of how to do certain things, and just keep trying to learn and improve. So it was just a discovery that I found the game, and it was something that I just wanted to do as much as I could. And in the holidays, during school holidays, we played as many holes as we could. We'd start in the morning and till it was dark, and we were very lucky that there was a group of junior golfers that all came up at the same time, and we were very, very lucky that we could all play together, and we had each other to compete and learn with. MJ Dlamini was part of that group. RV Shongwe, Gift Zulu was part of that group. Damien Hammond used to play. So we were very lucky that we had all those guys. Yes, that's me.
Now, I like the amount of time you have to take your shot. That's a beautiful shot. Now,
thank you.
Can you recall this time? When was this?
That was during the following year's King's Cup to the previous picture.
So you've played in the King's Cup?
Yes, I have. I've been very fortunate enough to play it a couple times now.
What's the feeling? I mean, that it's one of the biggest tournaments in the country.
For sure. Yeah, I remember my first one being so nervous the night before that I actually struggled to sleep. But the first one I played in, I didn't do that well, but I took a lot of the lessons, and thankfully the next 2 years I managed to play as best as I could. But it's a great honor, and it's a funny balance between you're confident because you know the golf course so well and you grew up here and you feel comfortable, but you don't know many of the other golfers there. A lot of them are international. It's a bigger stage, and sometimes you feel a bit of pressure from yourself and maybe from others to perform because you are at home.
When you talk about international, feeling pressure and everything, now I'm going to the next question, talk about maybe some of the international competition like Masters, But let's look at when you were still an amateur. But I think there's something maybe you want to explain to the viewers, because most people don't understand that when you're a professional, you can't be recalled to play for the national team anymore. You can only be playing for the national team at the amateur level. Maybe just to explain, during your time as an amateur, what was the situation like?
Sure. Yeah, so when you play junior golf and amateur golf, you have these annual tournaments such as the Zone 6 or Zone 5 games as it now is, the All Africa tournaments, which is a junior and a senior event. And those events usually require 4 players from each country to go, and the location of the tournament changes every year. But when you turn professional, you don't have the opportunity to play for your country as much because they don't have those events.
True. The week in, week out activities they just take you every time.
Yes, yeah, and people are trying to play for their livelihood and their income. So besides the Olympic Games, I can't really think of any other tournament where you would play only for your country as a professional, which is unfortunate, but it's something we have to understand.
Wow, James Pennington. Okay, maybe just to give a clue to the viewers, what are we looking at there?
Sure. So that's my golf bag. I'm very lucky to be helped out and sponsored by a company called Shrixon who make golf equipment.
True.
So they provide me with clubs and all the equipment I need to play, and we get these big bags when you travel because they're waterproof and you can put a lot more stuff in them. So food and drinks and stuff, and every year we get a new bag, obviously, because it after time the zips start to break and stuff like that, and they ask what you would like on the bag. So it's important to have your name because I think there's about 30 guys with that same bag. And if they're all lined up together, then having your name, you can easily see which one's yours.
Maybe for one would say just the bag itself.
For the bag with the equipment or without the equipment?
Yeah, with the equipment.
With the equipment, probably is scary. Probably about 70,000 emalangeni with everything in it. So they've been Shrixon have been a very big help to me in the sense that they can provide me with the stuff that I need to compete.
Well, now quickly, James Pennington is a very, very talented, our own and broad golfer in the country, as the name says, and the flag down there. Now, I want to believe you watch a lot of international competitions when it comes. Tell me, what's your favorite? One or two?
Actually, my favorite one was the one that was supposed to be played this weekend. It's the US Masters.
The Masters.
It's probably the biggest tournament in the world. One of our 4 major championships, which happen every year. But it's the only one of the 4 major tournaments that goes to the same golf course every year.
True.
So those that watch it and those that are interested in it, over the years of watching it, you start to learn the golf course, and you know certain holes and you know the history of the tournament. So
what were your expectations maybe on this year's edition when you saw whatever happened? But what were your expectations before even the date? The date was before the weekend safe. What were you expecting to see? And then the outcome, then everything with the COVID-19 came in.
Yeah, it's you have to look at the guys that are playing well.
With this guy,
Brooks Koepka, he's a machine. But I always like to think and hope that Tiger will do well. He obviously won the tournament last year, and it was massive for our sport to have him back on top of the world. But I'm the biggest Tiger Woods fan, and I really would have loved to have seen him.
Every golfer's wish is to wear that jacket.
Yes, for sure.
So part of your ambitions is to one day to wear that.
Yeah, that's a dream. Even to play in that tournament, that golf course is so exclusive that it just to be there would be a dream come true, and to win it would be.
He's very happy. Now, maybe wow, this is beautiful. Just for the viewers, maybe who were just thinking maybe we have lost you. No, we're still on you, James. Just to look at maybe you're yourself now becoming professional. Now you're a professional golfer in South Africa, based in South Africa. How is the journey like? Quickly, maybe just to look at the exposure, the weekly, the weekly conversations that you have with these golfers, and then what do you see that maybe we can just, get ourselves here in the kingdom to say, if you want to look at golf as a profession at some point, we can have full-time golfers and making sure that we have got more golfers who are professional. What can we do? What have you learned so far?
Yeah, I think it's a huge eye-opener, and it's a huge step to go from amateur golf to professional golf. There's certain guys that play on the Sunshine Tour that we play on that have actually played on that tour for 25 plus years. They're even older than I am, so they have so much experience, and the competition and the standard is so high that you really have to learn as fast as you can and try and just keep improving in every way that you can.
And then maybe facing some of the biggest guys, it's also improving your strength and maybe the technique. You're becoming better and better every day. For sure.
I asked a couple of the guys that have really succeeded what they did when they first turned professional and what they did, and there was a common theme that they would always ask questions to the guys that were better than them and that had more experience, and that they could learn a lot of things. So that's been something I've really tried to do, is learn as much as I can from these guys that are so good.
I think maybe the viewers also want to understand, if you just maybe sometimes get to see Nobuhle as another professional golfer, what is it like? How much respect to maybe South Africans have for her in terms of how she's become and what she's achieved?
For sure, yeah. She's been one of my role models growing up, and I've been very lucky to be able to become very good friends with her. We both live quite close together. When we are in South Africa, and we do practice and play quite a lot together, and always ask questions and try to learn from each other. So from her going from a role model to becoming one of my friends has been a privilege, and something that I'm very lucky to have, because she is held in high regard, and she's achieved a lot in this game in a short amount of time.
And of course, the two of you, as one of the best professionals we have representing us very well, it's another thing we can note. Now, there's the issue of the COVID-19 that has actually affected us so far. How have you been coping with the situation? And maybe just to take us through, are you, because you're being, you're being how do I put this? Should I say told, or being advised to keep indoors and train indoors?
Yes.
Are you doing so? And then maybe just take us through the steps. How is it going?
Yeah, it's been something that I think the whole world has struggled to predict, and it seems like it's come so quickly, and our whole season and life as we know it has changed, in the sense that we were supposed to start again in March, and we were going to have a tournament in Zimbabwe, and then 2 in Zambia, and come here for the Investec tournament to be played at Royal Swazi, and all of that has had to have been postponed because of travel and the fact that we can't travel and just because it would be risky and something that we shouldn't do during this time. Personally, I came home as soon as I found out from Johannesburg, and I've really just tried to stay at home as much as possible. I think in the last month or 3 weeks, I've only been out the house twice.
Now, this is you. Sorry to cut you.
Mm-hmm.
Take me through, how is that a training session? What's that? Is it a blanket? Is it
Sure. So that's just some shade cloth
Sure.
that we had, and myself and my dad made some poles, or got some poles and put some rope together and just hung it so that I could still practice my swing.
Also,
during this
the
long
practice
time
is about the swing.
Yeah, so
If
you can't see where the ball goes because it hits the net in front of you.
True.
But I can still manage to try and feel what it would feel like on the golf
The
course and try
strength
to
and
improve
everything,
things.
the shot.
And I'm lucky enough that I can send videos to my coach, and he can look at my swing and tell me what moves I need to make in order to try and get a little bit better. So that's what I've been trying to do during this time, and not leave the house.
One or two questions. If you look at maybe the fact that you're training and how you used to, just to tell us personally, how affected are you? You're a professional golfer, so you feel very much affected. You spending close to 2 or 3 weeks not being on the golf course on its own, it's a torture. How affected are you personally?
Yeah, it's been, as I said, all our tournaments have stopped. So where we would make money playing golf, we're unable to do that at the moment. So our job essentially has stopped. So you just got to try and find ways in order to keep improving, and just think a little bit outside the box. Obviously you can't go to the golf courses, so you just have to try and do what you can with during this time.
And of course, that's you, eh?
Yes, yeah.
Some of the shots, you're in the house.
Yeah, that's just in my bedroom. I'm lucky enough to have a mat that's got a hole on the end, and I can practice my putting.
Now, can anyone who is amateur afford to have something small in the house? Is it doable, or it goes with the levels once you become professional?
No, I think anyone can have it. If anyone wants to practice their golf, even if they put a bucket in the garden down and chip some balls into it, or even putt on your carpet in your house, you could put a tin down.
When was this? Just quickly before.
This was about 6 weeks ago. I had approached ESRIC in December of 2019, asking if they would be able to assist me in any way possible, and we had gone back and forth for some time, and this was the launch of the sponsorship.
And of course, I can see even today you are branded with the same product coming from them. Of course, they are not the only one sponsoring you. You've got other.
So they are my biggest sponsor. It would be them, and then Shrixon providing me with the equipment, but SRIC are my biggest sponsor, and I'm very grateful to them for helping me out.
And how long is the contract for this?
So this specific contract is a yearly contract, whereby they'd help me for each season, which is a March to March. Our season usually runs from March to March, so they would help me get to tournaments and be able to pay my caddy and accommodation and those type of things. So yeah, it's been a huge blessing, and something I haven't had for my first 2 professional seasons. So I think this is going to open up doors for me to be able to travel to more tournaments, and know that I'll be able to take care of the finances.
All right, there you have it. Thank you very much, James Pennington, of course, for being with us today in the studio to tell us about your professional career since you became professional. And of course, it's not your first time. I think what's very encouraging is that the last time he was in the studio, he was still an amateur, but now when he's here now, he's already a professional golfer. So thank you very much. It's something that we're encouraging, and we are saying that keep it up, and we also want more golfers to go outside there and become professionals and represent us whenever they have tournament. Now, next in line is a coach, Meshach Zwane, as he mentioned him in one of the 2 people, 3 or 5 people that he looks up who are very influential. Now, Meshach Zwane is already here in the studio. He's going to tell us some of the steps also to take a look at when you want to be one of the best coaches and some of the things that we need to know as we grow in the golf industry. But before we go to Meshach Zwane, we take a short break. Wherever you are in the house, you've been wondering how can you keep fit, how can you exercise. This is where the sport team, Eswatini TV sport team, of course, went out to say we have to do some things for you, and we managed to get some of the things that can assist you wherever you are in the house. Take a look at this. When you come back, Meshach Zwane will be in the studio.
My gym friends, I am pleading with you, stay home, stay fit. This is serious and it's time that we play our part. Hlalani makhaya, guys, and while you're home, stay out of the fridge. Leave that fridge alone. Best advice that I can give you guys, more than that, just enjoy this time to reflect and spend with your loved ones.
Sicela ukuthi nihlale emakhaya nigeze izandla nawukhwehlela uvale ngengcosa. Labo labajimako, try to do something at home so that you can stay fit until hulumende asikhulule.
Kumbulani ukuthi nisahlele emakhaya niyayenda i-social distance emakhaya, niyakhumbula ukuthi indzawo lohleli kuyo noma ungakasebenzisi sanitizer emakhaya, khumbula ukuklina kuhlale kuhlanzekile, khumbula nekuthi insipho ayibethu utane nani nemandi lahamba kwabe khona. Nangabe kude emandi lahamba ukhumbula emandi ukuthi wakheni ahlale ahlobile, bantwana bagadzeni bangayiti italadini.
COVID-19, you stay at home, you exercise, make sure you work strong on the immune system, which are a good defense mechanism. Injalo lento, lokha lo get.
Eswatini TV will continue to give you some of the tips during this very critical moment where the entire world, of course, is dealing with the coronavirus pandemic, where you can't keep active publicly. So some of the tips, of course, that are being given to you by Eswatini TV in collaboration, of course, with Eswatini TV Sports to just help the public to exercise. Now, I'm already in the company of Meshach Zwane, who is a local golfer coach, who's going to give us some of the things. But as a tradition, of course, in Dr. Babezwane would see simbambise urumende kanye ne-World Health Organization would see we just keep our hands clean. Yeah. Like I was telling to James Pennington to say, you might not have it, I might have it, and might be the one who can expose you. The same goes also to me to say you might be coming outside there, of course, bringing something different, and that is need to be dead. Now, Babezwane, we welcome in the studio and bring shit to Yes, we're talking about the industry golf. I think James Pennington at some point mentioned your name. When you look at him, since he was a kid, since he was under the amateur category, how proud of you? How proud are you to see a boy like that becoming one of the best golfers in the land?
Angibonga kakhulu. Ngasho ukuthi sibonga nje ukuthi bas i-level isithembe ukuthi sibe khona nasesikufakako. Njengama professional. Mina I'm a coach, phindze futhi I'm a playing professional. Kepha ke ngibe naso lesikhathi ukuthi ngakhona lokuthi ngibisele emuva ngiba coach. Kubona bafana nabo James Pennington, we are very happy, and isikhathi siyabaleka man ngokuthi with James Pennington, nabona obuhle bezela nabonyalo. Babancane sizama kulokhanjana nabo sebakhule nyalo sebathinza umhlaba, and kithi vele kulicapho elikhulu. and lesicela nje kuhulumende ukuthi amane aqhubeke asekele and maybe kufike lapha khona amane asita asibambise la kulama individual sports lapho uhulumende khona angathola khona ukuthi when the breakthrough kakhulu. We understand lama sports labo bahlangana khona bo soccer bo rugby maybe ubukele kusibantu baningi but lama individual sport vele siyaceka kani ile achieve kakhulu kiyo bengicela ukuthi manje basibambise.
Ukhuluma nje in terms of kubabambisa, you've got programs, there's a programs, development programs, which I want to believe guys like James Pennington went through them. What are some of the challenges currently are you facing? Is it maybe because you want the kids to be fully equipped on some of the things that you are facing as challenges trying to develop new golfers?
You know, the biggest challenge that I think we are currently facing now, you see, when you raise a superstar, we kufunela ukuthi babe khona labatombona embili. Yabona kuma ladies, we very lucky, we have Nobuhle, is making a great breakthrough. And I hope Puslive we just need to stand up and stand behind us and support. Maybe utawufika lapha bese ngicabanga khona asiphakamise. Ngalana, I think you remember from George Lamini's time, Paul Friedlander, and then it's gobe sekulandzele group yetfu. But the biggest challenge that we are having kule group yetfu tsine khona bekwendeka we sakhona ukuthi sidlale but inkinga lekhona kwabe sekuyafa ifocus maybe seyabe seya shift time. So ke akusendi lokuthi ngoba lo mfana ufuna sakaqala phapha abe nale picture lokuthi you know what ngifuna kufana na Jamie, ngifuna kufana na Mishek, or I want to be like Mishek or Ngumenge futhi naye, you know, ngoba ufuna sinakuzana ngoba la kube sekuba inkinga khona ukuthi umfana nakaqala kube nje ngathi ufuna afane na Tiger Woods lifilimu lelo. Lo mfana afuna afane na Mishek because Mishek utafika abut athi hey Mishek
na as I look at some of the pictures, I mean
yes.
These are some of the kids. Take us through. Yes, ukhuluma ukuthi vele singabakele amafilimu ngokuthi sibathembisa umhlaba, but let's take them through the stages.
Yes. They will eventually reach lezinga. Everything is possible about Tiger Woods. But if una aqale la Eswatini, ngimkhulumise simfana mina uqala kanje abe nje ne picture ukuthi hey ema professional golfers achieve nabo. It's unfortunate lokuthi in every sport, unfortunately I checked through in Swaziland, it's only soccer where you can find history ukuthi bekuna I understand, but all the other sports kutela ukuthi ungakhona nje ukuthi hambe ucheck out yathi kuthini ngiyathanda indlela adlala ngayo Meshak, what has he achieved? We don't have that, and those are the things I think we need to start now putting together. Senele ukuthi abamfana bangagcini babona nje amafilimu bafuna kuba Tiger Woods bangacala ekhaya, because utawufika lena ukuthi vele sengile standard sakhe lokuthi sangakhuluma na Tiger Woods, because umfana ubesiba disappointed along the way. I remember nje I had a very young kid, very good, bekaqala Galuva. This kid ngathi ngiyamzama and he says no, you guys, you can't tell me I want to be like any else can't even talk to the kids. Ngimfuna kuqala kimi, you understand, and else South Africa and nakhona labakhona bakonje nekusondzela kuye. So dinfethi incane ufuna silungise simaswati lokuthi you first allow the kid asondzele kulowa kibo amkhulise, and then umhlaba nasambona lapha ethu lapho tabe siyamthatha. So dinfethi kanjalo I think ile kufanele ukuthi silungise, but dinfethi lethu zingathini nje internal.
Maybe one would want to understand ukuthi labeni khona before kufika lo COVID-19, part of nama programs are very aphazamiseke ngoba the COVID bese anything doesn't even take place, the kids can't even continue nama practices banika yona because of the COVID-19. Maybe quickly ungakuchaza ukuthi how affected were you?
It's affected njengomhlaba affected, but siyathemba nje singuluta sipha lo umusa siphinze futhi sibiyele. Golf development ihamba kahle, we getting the financial support from different sponsors, First National Bank, we have Royal Southern Sugar Corporation, and then siphindze futhi sine belokhwanyana la bema nomads nabo basupporta kakhulu. So nama sponsors lamanye laqhamuka eceleni. So ke ngicabanga lokuthi siyayithola lelo khwanjana le support yonke iphelele. Ngicabanga nje ukuthi le program yethu ihamba kahle. Ukuthi nje vele kutaba nemisebenzi omningi nasesiphindze futhi sibuya sisibabuthisa futhi ngoba phela ngeke kube lula noma ngakusiphi sport. Otherwise ngicabanga lokuthi we are doing very well. The amount of kids lesikhonde kuba thola labanye understand not all the kids they have parents, some of them ba nsanzane, but ba inshisekelo labanayo uyabona nje ukuthi live litawudinga lithole badlala esibili.
Now, moving on quickly, Zwane, I think you were one of the leading personnel in terms of Zone 6 team that was supposed to head for the Zone 6 games. In fact, one would say you coach them. And then take us through how ready were the boys, and do you think Vele, the dream was shattered if you look at the level you had taken them in terms of preparations?
Yes, I would say islimele. In fact, we're going to team level ngayo ma juniors because we are more into development. Beya Egypt, glama Africa Junior Golf Development, I mean Africa Junior Championships. Bebaya khona. Balimele bamfana but ke simo lesikhona emhlabeni lesivele. But ke again akhona kuningi lokutafuna ukuthi sikulungise because laba nje bese bathola ichance yabo igcina ukuthi bangamela live as juniors. They are moving nyalo sebangena kuma seniors and they are doing very well. If you look at Qiniso wine before aphume afike lo 18 years wine 3 times in a row waphenza futhi even nakulama seniors bekudlala bo Mbabane boSRIC nabo MTN bega winner with very good score.
I'm looking at their shots. I think so far I'm impressed.
Yes. So ke kuningi nje lokuhle ngathi kuyenteka and there's a big change. But ke with the national team there's a lot that we need to do. I've spoken about this. You see, when you're doing e-development, it's not a thing lendeka overnight. There's a lot of the coaches, they are the backbone because at the end of the day we bite the bullet if ngahambi kahle. If ukuhamba kahle futhi okay, most of the time we're left behind. But that's a no. But what I'm saying, what we have seen is Silive. We never ask him questions when it touches Timpilo, especially the Bamvana, and make sure ukuthi kusasa we produce product le start khona ukustick up ngamhlabeni. So lana bekuyiwa Egypt, but ekudingwa khona a coach was going to be left out. So now you ask yourself how a team was going to go without a coach, and really
it doesn't make sense.
Is it about performance or
so figure like Egypt? Yes.
But again, I'm hoping because Golfino now we've asked to amend the constitution. We are hoping now is going to help because we want la bantu labato bakhona ukuthi bafake lo khwanjana yes ama ideas langiwo babe upfront and ukuthi bangabonakala.
Mfundo Ngumalo, of course, one of the best kids. We talk as we see the pictures, but quickly one or two. That what you just said, it answers my next question in terms of strategies that you have in plan. I think the union, there is something that is trying to insist. Now, in terms of coaching and then the likes of these guys, yes, but I mean, in terms of advisors, I think these kids now are in the house. What can they do? Pennington was talking about now what he's doing in the house with the net and everything. Quickly, and
Pennington is doing a great job. We are practicer at home, and we expect all golfers or all athletes. Good bekhona la kwenda ekhaya. Mina nje ekseni I was out running lapha said luckily the soccer guys abakhona ukuhlangana because bahlangana bona by group. So they left the ground open, so siyakho yes ngiyakhona ukuthi ngijime and ngiyakhona nekushaya ma pitching weight ma club, so you must stay there because you don't know what will happen immediately. Lo mkhuhlane uhamba, the world is changing so fast and one day you can find yourself position lapha khona songilabanye labaphakamise live, so we expect them ukuthi baqhubeke ba practice.
All right. Very much indeed informed from what Mr. Zwane just told us. Thank you very much, Meshach Zwane, for being here. And I think in the interest of time, we say you're always welcome here when we need advices. And I think we've got golfers within the station. I don't want to mention their name. There are 2 or 3 people still seated even in the building with me. So you just give them tips on how to also keep fit in their house. And I want to join the sport. I think that's a story for another day. So how can
keep you wanting?
Yes.
Join.
I keep saying that I want to join, and I think I want to say that keep helping these kids in any way they want to achieve some of the things they want to achieve. And thank you for being here, and we will always, of course, need your advice. Now, Linda Master is already in the studio, dressed up and ready to give us a different opinion, strategies, what's going on, where he was visiting over the weekend. Our in-house best expert, Linda Dlamini, is going to be here after the break, where we continue to show you some of the tips that you can get from, local instructors. These are the tips to help you whenever you're in the house and you're asking yourself, how do I keep fit? Take a look at this. But Linda Dlamini is already in the studio after this.
My gym friends, I am pleading with you. Stay home, stay fit. This is serious and it's time that we play our part. Hlalani emakhaya, guys, and while you're home, stay out of the fridge. Leave that fridge alone. Best advice that I can give you guys, more than that, just enjoy this time to reflect and spend with your loved ones.
Sicela ukuthi nihlale emakhaya nigeze izandla nawukhwehlela uvale ngengcosa. Lawo labajimako, try to do something at home so that you can stay fit until hulumende asikhulule.
Kumbulani ukuthi nisahlele emakhaya niyayenda i-social distance emakhaya, niyakhumbula nekuthi indzawo lohleli kuyo noma ungakasebenzisi isanitizer emakhaya, khumbula ukuklina kuhlale kuhlandekile, khumbula nekuthi insipho ayibethu utane nani nemandi lahambako abe khona. Nangabe kude emandi lahambako, khumbula emandi ukuthi wakheni ahlale ahlobile, bantwana bagadzeni bangayiti italadini.
COVID-19, you stay at home, you exercise, make sure you work strong on the immune system, which are a good defense mechanism. Injalo lento. Lokho get.
Continue, of course, to give you tips on how to keep fit in the house, wherever you are and wherever you're watching us from. Could it be in your house on a different platform? Could it be YouTube and other platforms that are there? We say we're still with you. I'm in the company of Linda Dlamini to talk about different issues pertaining to fitness, pertaining to effect of COVID-19, what's happening mostly internationally.
Gezisa Fabrice ivele ngumgomo lo tinvele kumele ukuthi sitilandzele Fabrice leti akusiti mhlambe wena nami ngiyatsita ngicabanga nje ukuthi tinvele letu lekumele ukuthi sitende njalo.
Dlamini ngicabanga ukuthi now when you came in, I think I want to understand you, maybe you took a look and listened a bit what we talked about with Pennington. I think you are one of the sport analysts. I would say everything you are informed when it comes to a sporting code. What did you make of Pennington? I think Matisugera amncane akhulu. Nawumbuka nje maybe nawubuka nabo nobuhle because muvile ukuthi vele they are a team or wherever they are. Ungathini ngalomfana lo Dlamini?
Ngiyakhumbula Fabrice nakakhuluma athi the first time compete ku Kings Cup. He was nervous. I was there. We were broadcasting that tournament live like Eswatini TV about 4 or 5 years ago. Nangikhumbula kahle ngicaba ukuthi is a young lad lo funile kukhula kule sport nyalo is a pro. So taw compete South Africa badibene nabo nobuhle lesakhuluma nawe 2 weeks ago ukuthi wenda kahle kakhulu sambeka ku number 1. Ngicaba ukuthi if naye njengoba asho ukuthi beka grew up abuka kuye nobuhle nyalo sebasebenzisana laba ngakhona ukuthi basharishe those ideas ukuthi wenda kanjani utraina kanjani focusa kanjani then ngicabanga ukuthi cause lokumcoka kakhulu as much as leli gama la Pennington litawuphakama but lo mjeka wa Eswatini utawuphakama.
And then of course as one of the in-house, like I was saying, unless you have some of the initiatives like all those people that were saying that encouraging people to keep active. What do you say about that? I think it's one thing that we need to understand because as such I would say the pandemic will last for how long, but it's something that now athletes need to put themselves to say, you know what, I have to use every little time you have. So gulamanye sporting courts must ngatibuta kutsuchi manjani for a pool, which means you have to have a table in the house. So how do you do it? All these things. Golf, I didn't know that there was a way. Pennington actually showed us that you could. Utsininga logo master.
Last week Fabrice sakhuluma besina ezithande la wakhuluma ngediscipline. Ngicabanga ukuthi onke lama athletes uqala kule discipline then bese so iyafuna wena ukuthi improve Pennington bajimele ekhaya babeka linethi la ngaphandle bashayele galuva abalungisa kakhulu lama swings. Ngicabanga ukuthi yonke le athlete if ingati hlupha noma nangabe icon yena kuthola those exercises noma letindlela tekujima nakasekhaya akabute phela coach wakhe noma abute umuntu lo senior kuye. Ngicabanga ukuthi bangakhona lo siba improve nakunyalo sibonile ne weekend bozama kamanzini bozithanda bakhombisa ukuthi ungatraina kanjani nawusendlini ungakhipha kanjani ufit kulesikhathi lesingicabanga ukuthi idiscipline tikwa konke because ungaba sendlini uhadi lama exercise uvela phela kwenda.
Umbuto sala uthi egcileni master, now what are you doing to keep fit during this moment?
Fabrice na unganaka kahle kube kuthiwa kuyenteka nje nalihembe nje lengilifakile leli shirt belingibamba but nyalo so uyabona ukuthi cha
na uthi ukubamba belinjani ukubamba kanjani kanje like belingangeni
bengenile kancane Fabrice but nginikile ukuthi every time every day exen nangivuka kunema exercises lengwendako
awuyavete maybe master ngasita lama exercises
it's nothing much Fabrice ma push ups ma sit ups letinto letincane uyaqala kancane Fabrice ngathi nangicala ngathi ngidashanje 25 then ngiye ku 50 then ndawubona ke from there kuthi after how many weeks sengiya 100 letinto letincane then lama push up lama sit ups because lesisu ngivele ngiso leli sihlupha kakhulu but lokumcwa kakhulu ngokuthi uhlale ufit.
Now you are one of the people who took an initiative master singasho ukuthi to look at different sporting codes ukuthi kuhamba njani and everything. Maybe on this moment one would say because of what's happening now there's much activities, but when you look around like you go around Manzini Lobamba wehle everywhere all the all the towns and cities in the country, what have you noticed? And then looking at these initiatives, are people really indoors keeping up with this activeness?
Fabrice bazama ngeke sikucambe emanga kakhulu bazama kakhulu njengoba ngisho nje ukuthi ngeweekend Saturday the Eswatini TV Sport crew baya kamanzini bayoshuthwa onke la personal trainers kukhombisa ukuthi na usekhaya na usendlini ngitip letinvo longa akudzinga space lesikhulu le space nje lesincane lonaso lendlini ungakhona ukuthi usebenzise profitable then utawuhlale ufit vele otherwise ngaphandle siyacela ukuthi
uyokwenda yini lokho master
kancane Fabrice ngisanga
so before uqala ukwenda vele kubamba lishetu kodwa So nyaka sekubambe kusho ukuthi siyakwenda lokho. Yes, yes, you explain.
Ukuthi Fabrice ngicela zami ukuthi vele sihlale la endlini kudzingeka ukuthi nangabe kuyofuna tinvo letimcoka because labanye sitaba expose thina emva kwesikhathi nabasolo banengane bachubeka bangalaleli umthetho wahulumende lobekiwe because akusiko lokuthi udiphephisa wena uphephisa ngathi sive because nawu lengaphandle kulabantu nangabe unawo lama symptoms noma seliyakubamba leligciwana so tabathelela labanye.
Master, are we still talking about initiatives and being active, and of course we've got enough pictures of course to share with the viewers. They will keep coming up and we'll also touch on that. Now Master, I have a question, and I think this is the way the viewer wants to hear your opinion. Different countries in Europe, especially big clubs, you talk about your Barcelona, your Juventus, wonke amaqembu akhuluma nge-pay cut yabadlali. And Master sikhuluma ngama teams la professional emhlabeni. Then we come to a league that is not fully professional, like our M10 Premier League. Utsini, Master, should our players get a pay cut? One, considering the fact that I'm not trying to, Master, hear me right. I'm not trying to say if you say when teams should get a pay cut, you are wrong because then you are saying about full. But remember that there's no income now that is getting in terms of get takings. There's no publicity you can even do. You can only use social media. Do you think they should get a pay cut?
In fact, Fabrice, I want to understand noma there are some teams la sebenzisa ema contract lehlukene ukuthi kunebadlali abatawuthola nje ngenyanga kunema teams la khela abadlali ema contract ukuthi i training bonus training allowance game allowance tinvo leti kanjalo so nangabe kute lama trainings kute lama games abatholi vele ngicaba ukuthi kulala manye because badlali bethu siyathi ukuthi abatholi mhlambe lokunengi kakhulu the highest paid player uthola around 15,000 so if lo mdlalo utasi pay cut then sotawulimala sotawuhamba agcine bo 5,000 ngicaba la labathola bo 5,000 shothi batawuthola bo 1 point noma bo 500 then lama bills libawabhala dala njalo ngenyanga ngicaba ukuthi nalapho kudzinga ukuthi batibuke letinvo ukuthi labadlali batawu affecta kanganani ngisho onke lamalanga ukuthi bantu labamcoka kakhulu badlali Fabrice asingaba limatini cause lesimo lesi akusho ukuthi mhlambe ku default yemuntu but asingaba limatini labadlali
kunembukelo yatibuta ukuthi athi Master sona ngampemvu ufuna pay cut noma usafuna pay cut just to nyawo considering but in your opinion should there be a pay cut?
No,
there shouldn't be a pay
yes
cut. Now, moving on. Now, when you look at now issues of games that can be played closed doors, some countries, not football only. When you look at golf, it's a sport. You can look at different sporting courts. You look at your swimming pool. If you have a swimming pool in your house, you can gym. Do you think some sports can be played during even this pandemic? Is there a sport you think can carry on? If it's allowing, not to say. But you don't want also to sound like awuhambisana nokushiwo nguhulumende noma World Health Organization. But even in the world, do you think if the pandemic lasts for long, do you think there are sports that should be played? Mind you, the situation could be still worse.
Nangabe Fabrice inciphile akhona vele ama sports la ngadlalwa behind closed doors ngicabanga ukuthi lokho kudzinga ukuthi bacikelele ngeke ngasho even na last week ukuthi kudzinga ukuthi bacikelele ema stadiums onke le staff lestaw bayingcenye yalawo ma games ukhuluma ngabo cameramen ukhulume ngabo groundsmen ukhulume ngama cleaners bonke labo kudzinga ukuthi bafuthwe balanzelele tingondo ekuzama ukuvikela leligciwane bendiwe show lokuthi bede vele then lama games angachubeka because isports siyathi ukuthi kakhulu kungile mali but alokumcwa kakhulu nyala kusile imali kulempilo yalabadlali.
Right. Of course, I like the way you answered it. Before you were a sport personnel, before you were a footballer, an athlete, a swimmer and everything, you are a human being. So your life becomes important rather than being an athlete. Now, Italy is looking at testing the entire, Premier League, that teams, coaches and everyone, to allow to proceed in May. What do you think about that? I mean, considering the fact that Italy is one of the countries who are, being hit by the pandemic.
Italy Fabrice ilike yakhona idecide le yathi ngina badlali ngekuphela kwaMay batawutestwa bese ba decide ukuthi ileague baqhubeka nayo behind closed doors. Siyakhumbula kuse Italy this season it was one of the most competitive leagues for the past 15 years. They compete Juventus, compete Inter Milan, compete Lazio. So ngicabanga ukuthi babuka lokho nabo ukuthi if bangaqhubeki na league babese bayikhansela angeke baphindze bayithole ileague le kanje, but siyathi ukuthi badlali baperforma kahle nangabe tikhona tihlwele. Ukhuluma ngabo Ronaldo, ukhuluma ngabo Lukaku, ukhuluma ngabo Immobile. Ngicabanga ukuthi all those players baperforma ngcono vele nangabe kunama fans, but sitawubona ukuthi kuhamba kanjani Fabrice, but sebashilo nje ukuthi end of May batawutesta bonke abadlali babateste ukuthi beme kanjani sithini simo sabo, then they will take it from there.
Now, if the situation allows, Master, are we a country that can also play indoors, behind closed doors?
Lakhaya?
Yes.
No.
We can't.
We can't.
Why do you say so?
There's a lot. Siyathi ema-teams ethu abenefitha kakhulu kuma-gate takings if kudecide ukuthi ngeke ete ama-fans, then lama teams thola kanjani, not unless ikhona imali letayibeka ileague nesponsor ukuthi lokho sithi balandzela abeti sitabonika maybe 80,000 per game, lestanika nje wona kucompensate ukuthi ama fans awet. If kungaba kanjalo then singasho ukuthi iliga ichubeka.
There you have it. Of course, the pandemic that keeps on hitting the entire world. It also got one of the best Liverpool legend, Sir Kenny Dalglish. He was in the hospital, Master, so weird. A well-vested and decorated Liverpool legend. I think, man, this pandemic was going to do a big of a damage. But what do you think about him and him coming back?
Fabrice kuluma nga Kenny Dalglish, the last Liverpool manager to win a Premier League title for Liverpool.
Yes.
Back in 1990. So we understand a lot. See, in fact, as a player, why win a league for Liverpool? Why win as a manager for Liverpool? The 69-year-old uphumile ngesibhedlela itolo lengicabanga ukuthi dindzaba letimnanzi leto if kunebantfu labatawukhona ukuthi ba recover kule sifo lesi. Ngicabanga ukuthi bonke bantfu lamhlabeni labalandzela ibhola, abalandzeli beLiverpool, they are happy. Not only bantfu bebhola, bantfu nje nakungabe khona umuntu lo recover ko ngicabanga ukuthi yinvo lenhle bekungeke kulunga Fabrice kulahlekelwa ilegend.
And of course, if you take a look at what's happening internationally during this pandemic crisis, clubs and the different teams and team players representative have taken an advantage, Master, kukhuluma ngama transfers. I think there's nothing much to talk about nyaro over ngama rumors ukuthi bani yakule team. Just maybe to give us 2 or 3 players, Master, who you are saying maybe if all goes accordingly, they can if everything goes accordingly, one could join another team to another. Yes.
Kwaqala Hurricane maneng lama speculations ukuthi ngendeka uyephi ibekile ke price tag yakhe iTottenham Hotspurs yathi 200 million pounds for Hurricane. Ngicabanga ukuthi is a very good striker, but
so 200 million he'll be the most expensive player in the world.
Yes, Fabrice, but Arsene Wenger once talked about the crazy transfer deals. Bantu bacabanga ukuthi uyahlanya, but I understand ukuthi bekashiso now buka 200 million. That's a lot, Fabrice, for a striker lo banjwa ama injuries lamanengi kakhulu. Ngicabanga nje ukuthi iManchester, cause ema speculations athi iManchester limfuna was listing ku interview yakhe earlier on akhuluma naye Gary Neville. Ngicabanga ukuthi uyafuna kuhamba kuTottenham because akaze awina lutho Tottenham wagcina kuwina individual award, i-top scorer award. Ngicabanga ukuthi but le mali it's way too much. Lo munye Kylian Mbappe wayo
French star, yeah.
Yes, you remember i-World Cup besiyisakada la 2018 wakhombisa performance yakhe ukuthi is that player lo ngambeka lapha eTulu iyamfuna ke Madrid. Ema reports athi the deal was almost done before le break yayo i-coronavirus. Ngicabanga ukuthi
how do you think he will perform if he joins Madrid, Master?
Kahle kakhulu is the right player for Madrid, but I was hoping ukuthi mhlambe angaqala eNgilandi because siyathi ukuthi ipace yasebenza eNgilandi, Spain too tactically, but ngicabanga ukuthi sitawubona Fabrice ukuthi kuqhubekani because lamanye ama players vele lama deals atawudelayiswa ngasimo lesikhona.
Maybe before we can also talk about quickly locally, some of the players, not to mention their names, but the pandemic also affected the entire plan we had when the likes of Emmanuel Ebue and Benjamin Morel came. So they had planned, they had got a group of players, they wanted to take them to Europe. Do you think their dream is shattered completely?
Angicabanga ukuthi kanjalo Fabrice because akusho ukuthi lalamanye ama leagues ngale yaqhubeka. If lalamanye ama leagues aqhubeka ngale ngeshare bese ngasho ukuthi ku affectile, but yonke lomhlaba umile. So ema players la njengabo Rio labasho basho lama agents ukuthi vele they are here ku scout bona bo Rio. Ngicabanga ukuthi angeke kubaphathamise kakhulu, but nje kudinga ukuthi the boys bahlale ba focus bajime. Labanye badlali bolwethu former Manzini Wanderers goalkeepers siyathi ukuthi solo ba overseas basazama yona leti inhlanhla nakhona ngenteka ukuthi umjeka uMaswati uphakame. They are very good players, so ngicabanga ukuthi nakhona lapho if tinvu tawuhamba kahle batabasayini.
Time is against us, man. So I think you wanted to mention something about Pogba. He's also another man making headlines.
Hlale ngisho Fabrice ngicabanga ukuthi mafans eManchester United lamanye sekavumile ukuthi akasafuni ukudlala eManchester United. Uhlala alimele asati noma usuka alimele mbambani, but sifiso sakhe etsida kubuyela ku Juventus noma kuyodlala ku Madrid la tawucoacha khona nguZidane.
Tinsatsele ta Arsenal tatibuta master ukuthi ibona kwendekani khona la ufikawo ngoba alithethe ukukhuluma nga huge mega deal. What's happening with Arsenal?
Ima speculations athi ngenteka Aubameyang ahambe, but ke bebakhuluma na Prince Boateng
defend
yes no the striker labe kadlala eGhana Kevin Prince, yes, bebakhuluma na Aubameyang bachatha wathi yena office ubona ngathi akangahambi Aubameyang because iArsenal they are trying to build another great side, but sawubona ukuthi Arteta uphekani Fabrice.
They have it. When I'm next to this person, of course sometimes we forget that it's about a program, it's not about us. Of course, there is so much into what's happening into the world of sports, not only in football, but he has given so much effort when it comes to the sports fraternity. Thank you very much, Tamini, for being with us. And of course, that brings us to the end of the program where we touched on different aspects of the sports fraternity. We started, of course, with our own based golfer, James Pennington, to give us the journey to how we become a professional, to the coach, Meshach Zwane, who also gave us some of the tips and what's happening in the industry, especially development of golf. And now we ended up this program with Lamin, of course, giving us what he thinks about international and local efforts of the pandemic. And of course, this initiative, of course, by Eswatini TV Sports, together with the entire station, continues where we bring you some of the things that you can easily do in the house without breaching the government's restriction of going outside and get the COVID-19 or spread the COVID-19. So these are some of the initiative. Of course, the station together with the team, the Eswatini TV Sports team, they are working on to make sure that you are well kept and informed. And of course, this is at the end. Of course, if you didn't catch this program, there's always a repeat on Tuesday morning from 8 to 9. For those who are watching us from their home, from different platforms, be it on School Channel, be it on DSTV, and everywhere on YouTube, we say thank you very much for keeping with us. There is always Thursday, Report Eswatini, where you also you are kept entertained. Otherwise, for me, Fabrice Msondera, and the entire production that brought you this program, we say it's a beautiful evening. Good night. Until we see each other time.